So you can see there are some couple of HFM application I have. I've got as-based planning application. I've got a HFM application. Interface is one. I can move to any application. This is one kind of client. There's another client which directly connect me to the Hyperion planning. It is for older compatibility also. If you are working in older version of Hyperion planning, it works on this URL. So this is Hyperion client bad, whereas this one is workspace. Both are client. There are two URL. Then I got a middle tier. The traditional functionality of middle tier is the same over here as well. It's an application tier which works as a bridge between your database tier and your client tier. Middle tier could be a shared service for user administration and authentication. We don't have a license server now. We used to have previously. Smart View you already know. So Smart View can be used as a reporting solution for planning as well. And finally your database tier. Now this is so peculiar and difficult to understand. Hyperion planning uses 3 databases. So strange. It uses one database. First database is used. RDBMS database is uses. 2 RDBMS and 1 as-base. I use RDBMS database to store. It means when you install planning, you need one RDBMS database. You need Oracle SQL Server something. Or it is too early to understand why we need different a very broad view. Hyperion planning uses RDBMS for planning metadata. And other artifacts. It uses as-base, also OLAP server, to store business data. So actual data stores in as-base, whereas metadata stores in as-base and in RDBMS. It also uses another database, another RDBMS database. This is used for EPMA version. If you are working as for enterprise performance management. Now there are two kind of planning application we learn to understand planning in the older world as well as the new world planning application type. One is classic, another one is EPMA. This is still there for backward compatibility. And this is for latest version. It's still, so we'll learn both the application. So if you work for classic application, you need only 2 databases. When you work for EPMA, you need 3 databases. Don't pay attention to this. So in a classic application, there are only 2 databases. So for now, it is important to understand that planning uses RDBMS as well as base to manage their data. Now this is the latest architecture, EPMA. Now what it has administration client. You have this. We call this one is administration client, which works on 8300 port. Right? Another client is workspace. I shown you workspace. This is one client, administration client. We directly connect it to the planning. Workspace is a single interface for entire Hyperion product. This is my workspace. I think I closed it. So there, one is admin client, one is workspace, and smart view already know that. It's a desktop client, right? I don't have a smart view. It's a desktop client. In the applicant tier, there are multiple things. You have financial reporting. You learn financial reporting from Space. We can use financial reporting for Space or planning. The only thing you need to change from reporting point of view is the connection. So it might connect to Space, or the functionality would same, or it might connect to planning. We use shared service for user authentication and administration. This is something new. You are going to learn these two things. Database tier, we need 3 databases, as I said. One for Space, for business data, one for your planning metadata, and another one for your EPMA. We understand this in detail. Okay, now I'm going to show you the detailed view of Hyperion planning. So far we just discussed an introduction. What is Hyperion planning? Why do we use it? What it consists of? Now let's see in a more detailed manner. Okay, let me walk you through the important points of this PPT. Planning and its feature, capability, component, and architecture. We discuss this. Relational between planning and Space. This is the important thing I want to show you. Right. So I open Space and I show you the difference between why do we need Space along with the planning. In order to understand this, now look at this architecture. Your Space is a backend component for planning. It means business user communicate to planning, and the internal finally data stores in Space. Previously we learned the architecture called Space, and your business user. The business user directly connect to your Space. Now there is one more component being added, planning. Now another component, what it does, now the interface is planning rather than Space. Now let's look at this example first, and then we are able to understand. I have got one planning application, right? And these are the dimensions, a traditional dimension. I'm going to talk about why we need Space and why we need relational database first. This is my planning application, right? This is one of my application I really worked on. It was one of my proof of concept, one of my clients. So you can see all this very professional application. Now this is my planning application. In the background of this, I've got one database. So all the modification I'll do in over here will reflect to my Azure database. This is my database, right? Give me a minute. Okay, so look at this. my account dimension. I'm looking at same dimension member previously used to communicate directly to administration services. Now we connect to this through my planning. Now if you look at this, I've got a same dimension over here. The dimension which you create in planning finally visible in your space. Statistics. So the interface for me now is planning, right? Now let's do one thing. I'm going to add one more dimension over here. One more dimension I'm going to add in account. Okay. And one more member, new member. The name is new member. All the property I am not going to change it, just make it simple. So new member I added. Every time, this is the architecture. Every time you modify metadata, modification, when you modify it, it goes to RDBMS, and when you refresh it, it goes to S-Base. This is the reason we need RDBMS. We cannot directly modify the S-Base. Every time you modify metadata, the S-Base does not change automatically. You want to check? I modify and save it, right? Let me check the S-Base. Refresh. Refresh your database. Open the outline, check account. Did I get a new dimension? I add a new member, new member. Did I get over here? No. You don't get the member immediately to your space. So first it goes to RDBMS. Hyperion uses RDBMS internally to manage all the metadata. So if you connect to Oracle and look at the database, what database it has. I need to look at which is database for the same. All the modification I have done, it goes to relational database. Planning app 1 is there. Okay, planning application 6 has database plan app6. This is the name of my database. So I connect to this plan app6. In this database, my username